Welcome to the Genius Talk podcast. I'm your host Atul Raj from the bestemailmarketer.com, and today we have Katie Harvey with us. Katie, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much, Atul. I'm very honored to be here.
Awesome. So, for our listeners who don't know you, can you tell them who you are and what you do?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Katie Harvey and I'm a coach. I've been coaching for 23 years, which in the UK is quite a long time. I pretty much started at the beginning when coaching came over to the UK. And I am quite unusual in that I am a generalist coach. So I don't have a niche coach. Some people will call me an executive coach, other people a career coach, some people a personal coach. You name it, I have many prefixes to the word coach and I enjoy them all.
So, what led you to start doing coaching?
I suppose the backstory is that I had a degree in psychology and I was working in the field of psychological research and I was heading off down to become a clinical psychologist. And the closer I got to that, doing some amazing work in prisons, in the community, but the closer I got, the more I recognized that it didn't quite fit. Becoming a therapist or a clinical psychologist didn't quite fit with how I wanted to work with people. So I took a break, went to live overseas in South America actually for a couple of years. And then when I came back to the UK, I read an article in a magazine that talked about this new thing called coaching that was coming over from the States to the UK. And I fell in love. It was that moment where I thought, this is it. This is what I always wanted to do and how I wanted to work with people. So I started training and that was the beginning of it.
That's a really good story. Okay, so I'm curious. Okay, so you were in psychology. So, have you ever thought that with psychology, like everything becomes predictable? Like you know what people gonna do, like how audience will going to react. Have you ever feel that way?
I think because I've been working, as I say, 23 years as a coach and then longer working with people prior to that, and you definitely start to see patterns. Part of the work that I need to do in my own development is to
Mhm.
almost unlearn those patterns because it becomes too easy or a bit lazy to predict people's behaviors through the patterns that I've seen over all the years. And what you can do is you can start making assumptions around how people should and will behave. And and of course, everyone is unique. And of course, making sure that we don't hold assumptions is part of the job of coaching. So it is, you're right. I definitely see patterns over time, and I have to keep reminding myself not to use those patterns particularly and to keep asking the questions that help me understand that individual in front of me.
Yeah, exactly. So, when people reach out to you, what are the problems they commonly facing?
Well, so people always come to me through referral. It's one of the reasons I don't have a website, is because I don't need to find clients other than the referrals through the people that have worked with me. So typically people will refer people who have worked with me before. And so the number of topics is vast, but a lot of them are around career because that has been the thing that I guess people spend most of their time doing, that brings their income in. So they think about it a lot, and career transition and career development are a big part of what I do. So that people will often come to me talking about their career in some form or other. Again, it could be, I want to change my career, or it could be, I want to develop my career, or my career is stressing me out and I need balance. And it's a whole heap of topics around their career often people will present with. But often they're very positive things too around, I've got someone just hired me last week that was saying, I've got a brand new job and I really want to start well. I want to absolutely nail it. So I want to hire a coach to help me do that. So, but it's not always career. Some people come to me around how they're feeling about themselves, their confidence. Sometimes it can be around relationships. So, as I say, I don't have a niche. So it's the whole variety, whole spectrum of the human experience. Like,
Okay, can you share like one of your favorite case study?
let me think. I mean, I've coached hundreds and hundreds of people over thousands and thousands of hours. So it's really hard to choose. But I think, but someone does pop to mind. So I'll talk about him. It was a long time ago, but he is a wonderful, wonderful guy. And he challenged me right from the start. In our first session, I think I said, I've been really looking forward to starting work with you. And he said, I need to stop you there. Do you say that to everybody? Because that to me sounds artificial and fake. And I was really thrown because I hadn't considered it before. And so I stopped and said, I'll need to think about that. Like, yeah, I do say that to everybody. And it's true with everybody that I am really looking forward to starting work with them. Can't think of a reason why I wouldn't be looking forward to it. So you're right that it is something I say standard, and it's also true for you. And so that was our first moment of him challenging me and me taking a moment to think about it and then answer truthfully. And he kept doing it and kept doing it through our work together. It was a really bumpy ride sometimes by challenging him resisting that challenge, him testing the truth in our relationship, and and we worked together through that, through some really hard conversations. I seem to remember crying once. He didn't know, but when I put down the phone on the session, I was really feeling very tearful. And then, and he wrote at the end of our engagement together, he wrote me a letter that was just extremely moving for me around the work that we'd done and the impact it had on his life and the fact that I'd stuck with him through all of his challenging and testing moments. So that one stands out to me partly because of the courage and the learning that it took.
Okay, so apart from all those things, what are the other few things or maybe challenges like you want people to have who you want to work with?
The challenges that I want them to have.
No, yeah, you can say that. Like people who have some kind of challenges, and and you enjoy working with those kind of people.
I mean, it's really vast. I suppose the simplest way of saying it is that I really enjoy working with people who want to make some kind of positive change in their lives. And that could be a change that's kind of fixing something that's not feeling very comfortable for them. And it can be a change, like I said before, around wanting to start a business or wanting to really start a job very strong or a new relationship. So it's a positive change and positive development and growth in some area. I think one of my favorite things is when a person through that change gets to know themselves even better and gets to connect with themselves even better. But I don't have any particular, because I don't have a niche, I don't have any particular challenge that I'm looking for in a client. It can be
Okay, so
any
can you talk about like the process from working with you?
how people work with me. So they tend to find me through some referral, through someone who's told them about me. And then they will start together by setting goals and they will set some kind of goals for our work together. And then we set off working towards those goals until we reach a point where they feel that they're done on that piece of the journey with me. Have
Okay,
you got me back?
yes, I'm back.
You're back. We've frozen
Okay,
a bit.
yes, yes, it's raining here. Okay, so maybe
Uh,
it's because of internet. I saw.
did you hear my answer at all?
Okay, what was you saying? Like
Ah,
because I lost you in the between.
you were asking about my process, and I was saying
Yes,
that
yes.
it's very straightforward in that we set goals at the beginning of our work together, set objectives for it, and then we start through conversations, through very standard coaching practice, we start working towards meeting those goals, seeing what comes up along the way, building awareness, creating accountability, all the good things that coaches that listen to the podcast I'm sure know about. And then we keep checking in as to how we're doing towards those goals. And then people finish with me when they feel, okay, I'm done on this chapter of work. That's a varying different time with different clients. So I don't have any particular one size fits all process.
Yeah, exactly. Because everyone have different situation in their life and their goals.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what personality trait would you attribute majority of his success to?
Yeah, that's a great question. My personality trait. There's two things. As coaches, we talk about values, we talk about core values and help our clients figure out what their values are, which helps us figure out our drivers and what's important to us. Um, my top two values are love and joy. Sorry about my dog. I think those two values that I hold dear are personality traits too. So the love then that I hold as a value turns into caring as a personality trait, I think. And the joy turns into a lightness that I think is useful in working with clients. So I
Yeah,
would
exactly.
attribute my two values into my character, and then that I think is what brings success.
Okay, so looking back when you started, what is the one lesson that you will tell yourself if you have to restart again?
Easy, easy to trust. I've been coaching 23 years, and the first decade, I was frightened the whole time that it wouldn't work. Not that coaching wouldn't work or that I wasn't a good coach, but that my practice, which was ever so successful right from the beginning, I always feared that it would suddenly disappear. And if I could go back in time and tell myself, I would just say, just enjoy it because it carries on. You're busy. It's full. You have a full practice of clients for 23 years, and there's ebbs and flows, but they're hardly anything. Just get on and enjoy it and trust it. Don't waste any time fearing that it might not continue. That's what I would tell myself for sure.
Yes, you know what? I think whenever we have some kind of, I mean, those kind of feelings, there'll be some kind of hormones imbalance.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure it was always coming from a place of fear for me. And I would really like to go back and take that away so I could have I did enjoy it all. I wish I could have enjoyed it all even.
yeah. Like you are you have studied psychology, so I think like feelings impact so much, right? Like
Absolutely.
our hormones impact so much, like our mindset too. Like if we are not feeling good or some hormones is like low, then we will have negative thoughts, even if we have a lot of track record on doing the same thing.
Yeah, I'd agree. We live in the experience of our feeling, really. The whole world around us and how we experience it is through that lens of our emotions. And we don't always recognize that.
Yeah, exactly. So you read a lot of books. So tell me the best book that had the most impact on your life.
I'm going to really have to think about that.
Take your time.
I don't know that I can think of one book.
Okay, three.
I'll just talk about the first book that popped into my head when you said that.
Okay.
Think Again, it's called. Think Again by, and his name will come back to me in a minute. He's a psychologist that is very popular at the moment. So it's quite a recent book, and I just find it really, really thought provoking because he talks about the most important human characteristic being the ability to change your mind, which is why it's called Think Again. So flexibility of thought, rather than saying I'm a Democrat man and boy, or I'm a Republican man and boy, to use American language or in the UK, that would show a lack of flexibility potentially because as political parties change, we need to be able to change our thinking and change our mind. And although it sounds wonderful to be loyal to something, and it is wonderful, we also do need to be able to rethink. And as a coach, again, coming back to those assumptions that I was talking about before, we need to be able to challenge our assumptions, to rethink things and change our minds. It was such a good book, really. I hadn't really thought it would have such an impact because the idea of being able to change your mind didn't sound so profound to me on the front cover of the book. But it really was when I read it. I thought, this is important stuff. So it's definitely not the book of my life or anything, but it is a book that recently has had a real.
Okay. Any other book that you would like to recommend?
I've remembered who it is, Adam Grant. So the book is called Think Again by Adam Grant. And yeah, let me think about something else. Another book. This year alone, I've read 20 so far. So they're all vying for my attention and saying, pick me, because I'm a really, really good book. I really, really love lots of novels. And I like old old English children's novels that teach you about simple things in life. An old Canadian novel, Anna Green Gables, I really love as a story because it teaches us about some really important key values. Love. Reading, I still read. It's a quirky, eccentric thing about me is that I read some of those old children's books quite regularly because I really like Little Lord Fauntleroy, Anna Green Gables. I really like being reminded of the simple values of life. But another one that's a good business book, I think, is The Happiness Advantage by Sean Acor. I really enjoyed that book, thinking about the world of happiness in coaching and fulfillment and the world of business and return on investment and making money, and how happiness is sometimes seen as an outcome of making good business. But Sean Acor teaches us that it needs to come before making good business. People need to invest in their employees, and we need to invest in ourselves as business owners to create an environment of happiness and well-being, and that way success comes. And I have seen that time and time and time again. So rather than thinking that we'll work really hard and then we'll feel happy, we need to work on creating a culture of happiness in ourselves first and in our organizations. I really love that. So that's called The Happiness Advantage.
Advantage. Okay.
It's a goodie.
Okay. So for our listeners who want to know more about you and want to connect with you, where can they go?
It's quite hard to know where they can go because I
Where
don't have.
can they reach out to you?
There's one place because I don't really have
Yes.
an online presence, but there is my email, which is my name, which is Katie, Katie, and then it's quite long because so it's Katie at katieharveycoaching.co.uk. So Katie at katieharveycoaching.co.uk. That is it. I'm really happy to have people reach out to me on email. Don't look at it very often. It's like a couple of times a week, but I do look at it a couple of times a week, and people can reach me on there. But yeah, I am otherwise a bit of an internet secret because I'm not on any socials or LinkedIn. But I'm very happy for people to contact me.
Great. Thank you so much for spending some time with us, Katie. It was really great chatting with you.
You're welcome. I really enjoyed the questions, especially the ones about the books.
Yeah, I love books too.